All right. Welcome to the first virtual lunch in the Exhibit Marketers Cafe. We're going to give a couple minutes. I know it may take a little bit for people to get on here. But I just want to thank you, those of you who are joining today. This is a brand new experiment. And we're just going to bond together, and we're going to stick together, and we're going to get through all this. The trade show industry has definitely had a big kick in the teeth, and we all need to support each other. I know, some of my friends have said that things are just, tough, and others are still really busy. I know there was some people that wanted to be on here today and they couldn't because they're scrambling to try to take care of some, rush orders for customers and things like that. Today we're just going to kind of keep it loose, and we're going to just chat. I'm going to share some resources with you. Hopefully you've got some good resources that you could share as well. And we are just going to, just create this as a network for people to tap into. Also, I want to let you know that we will be archiving these. I'm going to put together a special playlist on my YouTube channel so that it will be available as an archive. And then I'll have a link to that back on the virtual lunch page. So if that's how you found us, was through the virtual lunch page on the Exhibit Marketers Cafe, just bookmark that, keep going back there, and you'll also have updates then, because this link will change every week. I'm using a service called StreamYard, and so the way they do it is that it's still my channel, I guess you could call it, but the link will change. So be sure each week you go back to the lunch page to get the current link. So I want to just go ahead. And so for people, as you come in, please go ahead and introduce yourself in the comments. Tell us your name and where you're from, maybe, what you do in the industry, so we can kind of get a feeling of who all is here and what you're doing, and where you're at and how things are going. So let's see. Looking at my list here of different ideas. So, and also my husband, Alan, is here. Alan, if you want to go ahead and put something in the comments to say hello. He's kind of helping me in the back end. I'm putting him to work since he's at home. So anyway, so we will, let's see. Okay. Oh, I see Alan is chatting as me because he just said hello. All right. So that's Alan chatting as me. All right. So if we have, it looks like we've got some more people watching. So please go ahead in the comments and introduce yourself so we can tell who all is here, because I can't see that unless you type something in. StreamYard does not, it links up with Facebook, but it does not show me who's actually watching. So please go ahead and just introduce yourself real quick in the comments so that we know who's here. And then I'll get started. I'll share a few resources, and then we'll kind of open up the discussion. So let's see. Okay. So while you guys are typing in the comments, I'm going to go back over and share just a couple of resources with you. First off is a blog post and podcast that I did last week. And this is tips from working from home, because I've been doing this for over 20 years. Most of my adult life, I've been self-employed working at home. So, the whole idea of staying home and working in the office is not foreign to me. So I have a lot of tips, and I shared those in my podcast last week. So you may want to go check that out. I didn't put the entire link on there because it's kind of long, but if you just go to tradeshowinsights.com, it's right there. It's the most recent post on the homepage, and you can find it really easily. Even if you're watching this in the replay and it may not be the most current podcast or most current post, it's still going to be really easy if all you do is type in the search bar. If you just type working from home, it'll get it for you. A couple of other things that I've put together to try to help out during this time. I've got a list of recommended business tools, of tools that either I use or I have friends who highly recommend these tools. And so I've got that up on the Exhibit Marketers Cafe. So you can go there and you can see, and I've got links out to all of these different tools. And so you can go check those out, especially some webinar services. There's two big names that you're probably familiar with in the webinar field, but those are not the two that I would recommend. So if your company, especially if you're a smaller company and you don't have one of those big mega budgets to have one of those two biggies, I've got some great webinar service tools that I recommend on there as well. And also I have a lot of experience. I've been teaching webinars for over 10 years. So, I can kind of help point you in the right direction on that. So I see we've got some new people joining in. So please introduce yourself in the comments. I'm going to hop back over here and see. Okay. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do in the industry, so we can kind of get acquainted with each other. I'll give you a minute because I know that it takes a little bit sometimes for the comments to appear. So, and again, for those of you that are just joining, I'm going to put this replay, the archives up on YouTube. So if you missed the first part, you'll be able to go back and catch that later. And I'll have a link for that on the virtual lunch page. So just make sure you come back to the virtual lunch page on the Exhibit Marketers Cafe and keep checking there. And then you'll be able to go back and get that. The other tool that I wanted to share is that I put together as part of my essential time management strategies for exhibit marketers class that I have online. I created a free project management systems chart, and I'm now making that chart available free separate from the class. So if you're looking for tools that you can use to help, especially if you've got virtual team and you're trying to coordinate all these projects and client assignments and things from people all over, these are a lot of different tools that can help you do that. Things from some of them you may have heard of. Trello is popular, Monday, Asana. So there's lots of those. The one I use that I love is called Plutio. So I've got lists of all of those in a chart. And so again, you can get that for free. So there's the link that you can go to access that. So let me go back here and check out the comments. You all are being really quiet today. I can see there's people watching, but I don't see anybody introducing themselves, which is fine. If you want to just kind of just watch today, that's okay. The reason I created the virtual lunch, I want it to be an opportunity that we can network and work with each other. But I know everybody's still kind of in that, what do I do stage. And so, if you're not comfortable about hopping in and joining the chat, I get that at this point. So that's okay. So for today, I'll just share some tools with you. And then, next week, we're going to do this every Tuesday at noon Central through the month of April. So, hop in when you can, tell your friends, invite other people. I really want this to be a support network so that people can help share resources and ideas and tips. And, I don't know, I'm trying to create things that can help, but I don't know what you need until you tell me. So even if you're watching this in the replay, please go ahead and leave a comment or just reach out and contact me directly and let me know what kinds of resources and what kinds of things you're looking for or what could help you in, as you're trying to, keep your business going during these times. We want to be able to really support each other in the trade show world and make this a benefit for everybody. So I'm going to go back over here. Okay. So I think I shared all of my links. All right. So, well, I'm just going to go ahead and go through some of the resources and tips that I have. And, continue as you come in, just introduce yourself and we'll just kind of keep the conversation going. But I want to go ahead and give you some value today of some things that might help you out either in your work or in dealing with, as here in Kansas City, we just started our 30-day stay-at-home order. So, you're going to have a lot of time to really get to know your family or your roommates or whoever you live with. So anyway, and as one DJ said yesterday on the radio, we're going to learn what everybody's true hair color is in the next month. So, okay. So here are some tips that I have. Start out, sometimes I know it's hard when you're working from home. It's hard to stay focused, especially if you've got other people around. As I said, my husband Alan is now home. So it's not the first time. He was unemployed once for 10 months. And so, we had to learn. We lived in a smaller place then, so it was more challenging. But you kind of have to learn to work with the flow. So focus on accomplishing one thing every day. And sometimes that may be a big thing, sometimes it may be a little thing, but just try to have that focus and that goal. Excuse me, I'm going to grab a drink here. I'm sipping on my chocolate mint bliss tea. So, and then just for mental health sake, find something that you can control. I mean, this whole situation, as we know, we all feel completely out of control. So, find something like, for example, we moved in 4.5 years ago, and we still have boxes that haven't been unpacked, especially around here in the basement in my office, like old papers and things like that. So, over the weekend, we unpacked 5 or 6 old boxes. But you can clean out a closet, bake a cake, bake some cookies with your kids, things like that. So, well, hi, Rama. So glad you were able to join us. I know you said you were pretty busy and weren't sure you'd make it. So welcome. We're glad to have you. Rama's a friend of mine. She's with Lev Promotions, does promotional products. So she's been busy trying to get customer orders in. So welcome. So Rama, what is your big tip for working from home, or what is one thing that you've been doing through all of this? So go ahead and share that in the comments. And there we go. So let's see, where was I? And then taking time to do things for yourself. So, whether that be if you're artistic, if you want to paint, if you want to do some crafts, rewatch your favorite movie. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Have your own spa day if you've got, or spa night if you've got, things like that you like to do. Kind of do your own at-home mani-pedi. I don't know. So you're welcome, Rama. I'm glad you were able to join us. And you're never too late. This is a come and go lunch, so everybody can hop in whenever. Okay, so Rama says that she always works from home. So she's like me. This is not foreign to her. So challenges now are helping clients keep in touch with their clients and prospects who are all of a sudden working from home. Yeah. And that's what I found too. That's why I wrote the post, the blog post, and did the podcast last week on working from home, because for a lot of people, this is a very strange feeling and they don't really know how, for those of us that are used to it, it's like, I couldn't really go into an office. I've done it. I've had office jobs a couple of times, but yeah. So anyway, but we're glad to have you here. Thank you for joining in. And yeah. So, and then another thing, as far as things that you can do, you can find things that you can do for others. And some of the things, I've been hearing some great stories about what people are doing. Alan had a friend that baked, 21 loaves of banana bread and took them around to friends and family, left them on the porch. I know another friend is walking a police officer, a neighbor police officer's dog. Just things like that that show support, and calling, especially if you have elderly relatives or neighbors, calling and checking in on them and seeing how they're doing. Seeing if it is a neighbor, if you can pick up some groceries for them or things like that. There's always little things that you can do to help people and let them know that you care. One thing I'm trying to do is I've made a list of friends of mine in the industry, in the trade show industry, and I'm trying to reach out to 4 or 5 people a week and just connect with them and just see how they're doing. And I've been doing it even with people, I've got a friend in Italy and I've reached out to him a couple of times. And, so even different parts of the world, just checking in and see, because this is not just a US thing. I mean, we literally, the entire world is in this together. So I think this is really a great time to really come together as an industry, because we all are feeling it and we all are dealing with it in our own ways. But I think it's important that we all stick together. You could also, other things you can do during this time is learn something new. There's always new things. I heard an interesting interview, a guy in China who was quarantined for 40 days. And I'm not sure why it was so long instead of just 2 weeks, but he was quarantined for 40 days. And a reporter was interviewing him about, what the world did you do during all that time? And he said, well, I've always been a bad cook. And so I decided during that time I was going to learn how to cook, and I learned a foreign language. So, there are always new things that we can learn and things that we can do to improve ourselves during this time. So, and that goes for you. And if you have kids, obviously things are weird for them because they're not doing normal school, but there's lots of other things you can do. And I don't have the address, Alan. I don't know if you can find that real quick, but those virtual museum tours, there was an article, it was like 12 virtual museums that have tours online. So maybe you could do a little Googling behind the scenes here and post that link for us in the comments. But yeah, we haven't had a chance to check that out yet, but I think that'll be really cool too, that museums are doing that. And I know the Shed Aquarium in Chicago has been doing penguin cams. So they let the penguins out to go tour the aquarium. It's really cute. If you haven't checked that out, you should do Chicago Penguin Cam, and I'm sure you'll find the videos of it. But it's really cute. They're walking around looking in all the other tanks at all the other animals. So that's kind of cute. But anyway, yeah, so other tips, ideas, things that you've been doing to try to help to pass the time or entertain yourself or make your work go smoother, any of those kinds of things, go ahead and share that in the comments as well. Oh, and a couple other resources. I know, because I'm a member of Planet Fitness, and I know something cool that they're doing is they're having what they call work-ins, and they're doing a live video every day. I think it's at 6 o'clock my time in Central. So, but anyway, they archive them online so you can catch them later. But they're doing these virtual workouts where you can join in, just watch the live video. And I know yesterday they're going to do some celebrity ones. And so yesterday I know they sent out a note that they had Jerry O'Connell and his family working out. I have not gone and caught that video yet, but anyway, if you're trying to work in some fitness as well, there's still alternatives for that. I mean, that's the thing that's cool about this. I'm seeing companies getting really creative and innovative in what they're doing. I've actually seen some exhibitors who, their shows have been canceled. And so exhibitors are now setting up their booth somewhere in their facility. And then they're doing a live streaming of basically a virtual booth. So they're in the booth, they're doing their product demonstrations, they're doing live Q&A, things like that. So there's still ways that you can do that and get engagement. It's also a really good time, if maybe you're not involved in a show that's been canceled, but you've got a show coming up like in the fall, things are kind of out of sync right now. So maybe you have a little bit of extra time that you could really dig in and focus on what you're going to do different, or some strategies for those shows coming up either later this year or even in 21. So, always make sure that you're making the best use of the time, because as I heard somebody say the other day, it's like when all of this is over, we're going to look back and go, what did I do with that gift of time that I was given? Either, for your business, with your family. I mean, obviously a lot of us are going to spend more time with our families than we've spent in a long time, because we're not all running around in 600 different directions. So, finding ways that you can connect and just make a difference, so that when this is all over, we do feel like that we've all benefited from it in some way. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of challenges left after it's over, but if we've made the best use of our time, then I think that we can actually feel more satisfied when it's over. So anyway, I'm looking to see. I'm still not seeing anybody else introducing themselves. Rama, I thank you for being brave. I'm going to put your comment back up here so people can see who you are. But so far, Rama is the only one who's introduced herself. So, and I get that, this is new, this is different. I just wanted to make this a platform for people to feel connected. And, if you feel more comfortable just kind of hanging out and watching for now, I understand. And, hopefully as we go along, we'll get more interaction in some of our future lunches. Because like I said, we're going to do this every Tuesday at noon Central through the month of April is what I have scheduled. So obviously these days, everything is negotiable, or should I say flexible. But anyway, we welcome all of you to join us again next Tuesday. And, maybe by then we'll all be kind of getting our, as they say, our sea legs under us and kind of having a better feel for how things are going. Oh, I see Alan found the link to the virtual museum. So even though it looks like me, this is actually Alan, my husband, behind the scenes. So the 12 virtual museums was a link in the USA Today. So there you go. If you're looking for things to do, especially with the kids, you might want to check out some of those ideas, because I think that's kind of cool. Again, like I said, it's awesome to see the creativity that some companies are coming up with during this time. And I really honestly think that down the road, the companies who go above and beyond and get creative and try to be helpful to both their employees and their audience, their customers, they're going to be the ones that come out with huge, brand boost. And the ones who just shrink away and don't try to do anything during this time, those are going to be the ones that are going to find it much more challenging to recover after the fact. So, all right. So I'm going to go back. Just one more link that I would like to share with you, one more resource. Where is it? So TSNN has put together a jobs board. So I know that some of you in the trade show world might be affected in that way. So I think it's great. They just jumped right on that. So they have this jobs board that you can go and check out. So, be sure to take a look at that if you need to. Well, anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I know that this, right now things are pretty chaotic, and hopefully over the next few days we'll all kind of start to get a handle on things. And it'll be fun to come back together next Tuesday and just see, maybe we can have an opportunity for people to kind of share what they've been doing and how they've what things that they've implemented in their own companies. So whatever you're doing, and if your clients are doing things too, please share that. Oh, I see Rama has another comment here. She's a huge Disney fan and posted 2 links on her Facebook page. Okay, so thanks for that, Rama. Fun Disney stuff you can do online. Oh, well, of course, Disney's going to be one company that's going to be very innovative during all of this, I'm sure. I also heard that there are some musicians that are doing like virtual concerts on their Facebook pages and stuff. So that's something else too, to check out some of your favorite artists or authors. Some authors are doing story times for kids. So those are creative. Oh, anyway, she says one is a series of classes on the Imagineering process, and one is how to draw Disney characters. Ooh, cool. All right. So yeah, so there are all kinds of different things that we can take advantage of during this time. So anyway, well, thank you, Rama. I'm so glad you were able to take a few minutes to join us today. I know that you are super busy trying to keep things going, and this is, hopefully you got a lot out of this today. And next week we'll check back in, we'll see how things are going, and hopefully we get more people participating in the chat. But for those of you who've been watching that didn't join us in the chat, I hope that you also feel like you've walked away with some tips and ideas and things that you can do. And be sure and join us next week for the cafe at noon Central. I'm going to go back here. So at noon Central on next Tuesday, and we're going to do this again. And just, if there's anything else that I can do to help you in the meantime, you can either reach out to me through Exhibit Marketers Cafe or Trade Show Insights. Again, that working from home tips is on tradeshowinsights.com. And then I'll put up again the link to the business tools. So here's the link for, or the page with all the recommended business tools that I have. So, if you're needing some recommendations and want to know where to go. And of course, being a solopreneur, a lot of these are free, and most of them are very reasonably priced. So they're not, like I said, they're not like the high dollar webinar tools and some of the things that you may be familiar with. So hopefully I'll help you find some things that can help you, help your customers. Oh, I see we got some other comments over here. So Dinesh Kumar says, hi, welcome. Thanks for joining. And if you missed part of the earlier, this will be available on replay. I'm going to put up a channel on YouTube. And then Rama says, thanks for doing this. It's on my calendar for next week. Look forward to hearing other comments and ideas. So thank you very much for joining us. And I think we're going to wrap this up. I really appreciate everybody's time. And like I said, reach out to me. Let me know if there's anything else I could do to help you with. And we will see you next Tuesday at noon Central. Bye.